to this Living the Simple Life vlog. Today we're going to talk about 4 tips to keep life simple. I don't know anyone that doesn't want to have a simpler life. So let's hope that these 4 tips can help us. Life can be so complicated. It seems like we come up with all these new gadgets and time-saving techniques, but when we do, life just gets more and more complicated. So it's become like we have to stop and make ourselves make life simple. Life was simple 100, 200 years ago. It was relatively simple. But we have to actually make it simple, make a concerted effort to make it simple. The first thing you need to do is remember less is more. That's not the first tip, but just remember that in life. Less is more. It keeps your life so much simpler. First tip in keeping your life simpler is that remember you don't have to be perfect. We live in a culture where everything has to be perfect. People have to be perfect. Things have to be perfect. I'm not saying that you don't strive to be your best. You certainly should. But it's okay if everything doesn't turn out just right. I'm what I call a reforming perfectionist. I used to like to have my house perfectly clean, to look perfect, my kids perfectly dressed and groomed, my dinners to turn out perfectly. And then I went through about 3 years when my kids were really little, where I suffered from migraines, and I would be in bed for days at a time. And all of a sudden, perfect wasn't possible, and I learned to live with good enough. And it was a great lesson, and even though I don't suffer from nearly as many migraines, I've carried that lesson on, that good enough is good enough, and it doesn't have to be perfect. The second thing is to live in the moment. We spend so much time and we have so many planners and apps on our phone that we're always planning for tomorrow or thinking about next week, and we forget to just stop and live in the moment. Just last week I lost a dear friend of mine, and we didn't know a week before that she was going to pass away. And her family had some really special times. Right now it's the middle of January. They had some special times at Christmas with her. They stopped and they lived in that moment, having no idea it was their last Christmas. And so we never know how much time we have or how much time we have with those around us. So we just need to stop, embrace the moment that we're in, live it. If you're sitting watching a TV program with your kids, enjoy it. Don't be on your phone. I'm guilty of this too, but don't be on your phone planning next week's agenda. Actually sit and watch with them. Talk to your children. Talk to your spouse or your parents or your friends or whoever it is you have in your life. Just sit and talk. Make that your agenda and just enjoy them. The third thing that's important that I think we've completely forgotten about in our society today is rest. And I mostly mean sleep, but I also mean just taking it easy, but we'll focus on sleep. Most people need about 8 hours of sleep. How much you need is specific to you. And the only way that you're going to know is to get a certain amount of sleep. And if you feel tired, the next night you need to get a certain amount or a little bit more sleep, maybe 30 minutes. But there's a magic number for you, and my magic number is not the same as your magic number. But you need to find out exactly how much sleep that you need and get it every day. There was an interesting study out of the Scripps Sleep Clinic in La Jolla, California. And what they found was that people that lived the longest slept 6.5 hours to 7.5 hours a night. Now, notice the 8 is not mentioned in there. What they also found is that people that slept less than 6.5 hours or more than 8 hours lived less. So chances are your magic number might be in that 6.5 to 7.5 range, but you need to find that. And the last thing is you can do all of these things, But you also need to focus on what you can simplify in your life. If there's something that you can do it an easier way, if there's a tool that you can buy, if there's something that you can cut out of your life, if you're like me, you need to learn to say no so that you can say yes to the best. Simplify where you can so that your life is simpler. I have an excellent free ebook, and I will show the URL at the end of the vlog, that gives you 101 ways that you can simplify your life pretty quickly. I say overnight. Most of them can be implemented just within a day or two. And you can get that at livingthesimplelifenow.com/ebook. But I will put that on it at the end of the vlog. But just focus on what you can simplify. Read simplicity blogs like Living the Simple Life Now. There's other simplicity and minimalism blogs out there. You may not believe everything that those people believe, but you can take a little bit of nuggets of wisdom and apply them to your life and keep it simpler. And you're going to live a longer, happier life. Thanks for checking in, and I look forward to seeing you next week at Living the Simple Life vlog.